What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Raised. In today's video, we are going to break down the second episode in Riverdale Season 4 called Fast Times at Riverdale High. If you want to be updated on everything Riverdale related, make sure to subscribe with that notification bell on to never miss an upload. With that said, let's get right to the video. The episode starts out at Pops, just like the previous episode with Jughead writing his story. He explains how Fred Andrews' death broke Archie's heart, so in order to make him feel better, Betty, Jughead, and Veronica ate dinner with him every night at Pops, and thankfully, Archie started feeling better. After all, Archie is one hell of a fighter that won't go down easily. In the next scene, Archie is at the gym sparring with Mad Dog. During their sparring, he reveals that school starts tomorrow. He quickly continues asking Mad Dog if he would want to come with him. Mad Dog hesitates first, but finishing school was something he really wanted to do, so after some thinking, he agreed. Betty, together with her brother Charles, can be found discussing the farm. Betty can be heard saying, "So, Mom missed another check-in with you?" which thankfully means that they weren't hurt during Ascension Night. Charles reassures Betty that she doesn't have to worry about their mother, saying this is the first time she's been late with reports. Knowing that Alice is alright is great news because this means that they are close to finally getting Edgar and Evelyn Evernever behind bars. Veronica is also taking care of some problems, talking with her lawyer about testifying against either her mother, father, or both. Veronica doesn't seem keen on testifying against either one of her parents and responds to her lawyer saying, "Or neither. I can be Switzerland."
Are you testifying on behalf of your mother, or your father, or both?
Or neither. I can be Switzerland.
Veronica's lawyer isn't happy with this answer, saying that she should at least reveal to the media who she supports. Veronica quickly responds, "No comment. That's my statement." She gathers her things and leaves the speakeasy. Veronica doesn't seem to be in the best mood, but understandable when both your parents are facing years of prison time. Cheryl is still creepy, talking to Jason's dead body, and this time she asks him what color he prefers. Should Cheryl wear white clothes the first day of school, or maybe go with her signature red? Jason does of course not answer, but still Cheryl acts like he talks to her. We can't imagine what's going on in Cheryl's head at this point in the show, but only one thing is crystal clear: she needs help. The Core 4 has gathered at Veronica's apartment and they share some memories with each other, being kind of sad that time goes by so fast. And Betty said, "None of us are especially good at savoring it, but tonight we will be." Betty then starts kissing Jughead and Veronica looks at Archie saying, "I think this is our cue, Archiekins." They then for some reason decide that they want to cuddle, so when Jughead and Betty are going at it in the living room, Archie and Veronica go over to the bedroom. We then get a pretty hot montage of the couples undressing each other, but we can't help but feel a little bit weirded out. Who would invite another couple over and then decide to have sex at the same time? It feels very strange in our opinion. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. When they wake up the day after, they realize they never set the alarm, which means they are going to be late for their first day of senior year. While at school, we are introduced to the new principal, Mr. Honey. They apologize for being late, but Mr. Honey doesn't care, saying, "Things are going to be different around here. We are going to have discipline and consequences." Thankfully, the Core 4 are allowed to leave without punishment this time. Archie burst into the boys' locker room where Reggie is talking to the Bulldogs coach. Following Archie is Mad Dog, or Monroe Moore, and after talking to the coach, Monroe is accepted into the Bulldogs. During the whole conversation, Reggie looks shocked, probably not expecting to see Monroe at Riverdale High. Following this scene, we have a heart-to-heart conversation between Betty and Kevin, where Kevin apologizes for his behavior. He doesn't need the farm to feel whole, but something he does need is his friends, especially his former best friend, referring to Betty. Betty doesn't seem to be that angry at Kevin, but it does seem like she will need some time before she can trust him again. Over the speakers, a voice can be heard calling Jughead Jones to the principal's office.
Jughead Jones to the principal's office.
When arriving, Jughead asks if he's in trouble, but Mr. Honey assures him that he's not. But he does have a visitor. The visitor introduces himself as Mr. Chipping. He explains that he was one of the judges on the writing contest Jughead participated in. Jughead says, "Yeah, I know I didn't win." Mr. Chipping goes on and explains he thought Jughead's story should have won, but he couldn't convince the other judges. Instead, he came to Riverdale High in order to offer Jughead a spot at Stonewall Prep, which is a very good school. Immediately, Jughead refuses the offer, even though Mr. Honey insists it's a tremendous offer. We have a feeling that Jughead is going to regret turning down that opportunity. After the first school day is over, Veronica and Archie are walking down the school halls when they are surrounded by paparazzi asking Veronica questions about her mother and father. Archie tries to push them away, but there are way too many for Archie to handle alone. In order to get away from the paparazzi, Veronica pulls the fire alarm and everyone starts heading towards the exit doors. Cheryl and Tony pay Mr. Honey a visit, introducing themselves and giving him a basket with treats. Mr. Honey says that he was about to call them into his office anyway to talk about the school dance they have arranged. With a very serious face, he tells them he is canceling it because during the last dance, multiple students died. Cheryl tries to save the dance by explaining how much comfort the dance gave her after her brother's death. Mr. Honey cold-heartedly responds, "Well, I don't agree." Cheryl's big smile quickly disappears as Mr. Honey repeats, "There will be no back-to-school dance." The new principal is not going to make the gang's school time easy, that's for sure. During his first practice with the Bulldogs, Monroe crushes it, getting a touchdown at once. While Reggie tries to stop him, he doesn't come close to doing so. During the whole game, Reggie's father is screaming at him, and when he failed to stop Monroe from scoring a touchdown, he shouts at Reggie, telling him to come talk to him. He says to Reggie that seeing him play was embarrassing, and during the whole conversation, he is pushing and hitting on Reggie's helmet. This is a whole new side of Reggie we haven't seen before, and this better makes us understand why he would suggest stealing money from his dad to help Veronica. They don't seem to have a very good father-son relationship. After the game, Reggie confronts Monroe about his past and mocking him for being in prison. After saying, "Is it true what they say about dropping his soup in the shower?" Monroe pushes him, but is stopped by Archie. This is obviously because Reggie is mad at Monroe for making him look stupid in front of his dad. When Jughead comes home, he is once again greeted by Mr. Chipping and his dad. FP tells Jughead that if it's about money, it's not a problem, he will take care of it. When Jughead insists that he doesn't want to go, FP asks Jughead if he doesn't want to go to a school that recognizes his talent. Mr. Chipping offers Jughead to come and feel out the school for a week, and when he starts to hesitate, FP says, "You are taking the damn tour." You go, FP. We all know that this is something Jughead could need in order to better his already amazing writing. After school, Betty goes to meet up with Charles again in order to see if there is any new information on her mother. Surprisingly, she finds out that Kevin still texts with Fangs, which means that he hasn't cut ties with the farm yet. Charles reveals his plan to reveal some information about their investigation to Kevin, which would make Kevin go see Fangs in person. If he does, they will be able to arrest him and hopefully the rest of the farm members as well. After being convinced by his dad, Jughead goes to see the school together with Betty, and they are introduced to the school, which is looking a lot more fancy than Riverdale High. They are showed around the school by a student named Brett, who invites Jughead over to a book talk taking place the next day. Jughead seems really excited to be in the new school, and he really seems to like Brett as well. Back in Riverdale High, Veronica is advised to take a break from school by Mr. Honey because he doesn't like all the drama she is in right now. He doesn't want paparazzi standing outside the school or having a possible criminal walking through his hallways. Therefore, he tells Veronica that maybe she should take some time off school until she has sorted out all her problems.
An unnamed inside source that worked at your nightclub is claiming that you, in fact, are responsible for the crimes that your father allegedly committed.
Betty and Kevin took lunch at Pop's so that Betty could reveal some information that would send him to Fangs. She told Kevin that the FBI finally found a witness that is willing to witness against the farm. And just like they wanted, Kevin goes to meet Fangs. After revealing what he knows, Kevin is told that Edgar and the rest of the farm doesn't think he can be trusted. Only if he manages to find out the name of the witness, they will be able to trust him again. Fangs feels very distant and doesn't even want to hug Kevin, which visibly makes him sad. After Fangs has walked away, Betty is walking up behind him saying, "You are so messed up, Kevin." Kevin is taken to the police station where he is questioned by Betty and Charles. After trying to get information from him, Charles takes Betty aside, saying they won't get anywhere with him. Curious about who leaked information to the paparazzi about her involvement with her father's crimes, Veronica calls over Reggie. She asks him why he's hiding behind his sunglasses, and when he takes them off, we can spot a big black eye. Veronica later confesses to Archie about this, saying she's certain that Reggie's father is hitting him. During the next practice, Reggie is once again yelled at and threatened by his father. This time, Archie intervenes, trying to protect Reggie, but it backfires, and Reggie starts pushing Archie. Thankfully, the others stop Reggie before it got worse. During his first book talk with Brett, Jughead, or Forsyth like Brett likes calling him, is introduced to a few other students, Donna, Jonathan, and Joan. The first book they are going to talk about is Moby Dick, and the other students quickly begin talking about their opinions on the book. When it's Forsyth's turn to talk, he gives an answer that none of the other students disagree on.
Well, it's pretty well established that Melville hated allegory. And he's quoted as saying that his biggest fear was Moby Dick would be seen as a fable.
Any rebuttals?
We know it's strange to hear Forsyth instead of Jughead, but you guys will just have to get used to it. Because Principal Mr. Honey canceled the back-to-school dance, Cheryl, together with Tony, decided to throw a back-to-school party at Cheryl's house instead. As expected, the whole school showed up to take some drinks and have a good time. During the party, Betty takes the opportunity to talk with Kevin, revealing that her mother is the insider. She reveals that she is extremely worried that something might have happened to her, since she just stopped sending messages. She then asks Kevin to set up another meeting with Fangs and reveal a fake witness so that he can take the FBI to Edgar. Kevin agrees, probably trying to make up for all his mistakes. The party is then interrupted by F.P. Jones and his fellow policemen, telling everyone the party's over. When Cheryl asks who called the police, he reveals that it was Mr. Honey. We have a feeling that Cheryl is going to start a war against Mr. Honey. Like she said, your name might be Honey, but I'm still Queen Bee. Archie follows Reggie home, and on the way home, Archie asks about the black eye again. Reggie confesses that his father is beating him, and has done so ever since he can remember. After some heart-to-heart talk, Reggie decides that he needs to take a stand against his father. He does this by smashing his father's beloved car in order to make him understand that Reggie won't take any more of his crap. The day after, Reggie talks to Archie in school, saying that his father finally listened to him and that he won't be coming to practices anymore. Veronica finally gives in to the paparazzi, saying that she will give her only press conference after a special performance. Let us tell you, it was definitely a special performance. Here, take a look for yourself.
Come on, babe, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz, I'm gonna...
Veronica reveals everything to the press, including her part in framing Hiram for the crimes he was arrested for. She also reveals that she is not going to stand with any one of her parents, saying, quote, "From this day forward, I stand only with and for myself." The next day in school, Veronica is filling in her Harvard applications and reveals to Archie that she is going to use her mother's maiden name, Gomez, instead of Lodge. That way, Harvard won't find out about all the crimes the Lodge family has done when searching for Veronica Gomez. In Mr. Honey's office, a huge beehive is filling the whole office with angry bees. Who could have done that if not Queen Bee Cheryl Blossom? Before the episode ends, Kevin reveals that the plan worked and that he knows the location of the farm. He reveals that Edgar and the farm have loaded the motel guns and they are getting ready to defend themselves. Jughead finally accepts the offer to transfer to the new school, and no one could be prouder than FP. That's it for Season 4, Episode 2. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. Also, don't forget to comment and let us know what you think will happen when the FBI tries to arrest Edgar and the rest of the farm.